I think my parents would be really scared to see the title of this video. I think they would be like, what is this?
Hey guys, this channel is called Today I Made a Mistake, and we are out here just making mistakes as we go through our lives. It will either be a good time or it's gonna be a good story.
If you're here because you think you're gonna get a step-by-step guide on how to have sex and what position you need to be in, no, this is not that. But stay, please don't leave. I promise you this video is gonna be worth it, and you kind of will get those tips, but not from me, from this book that I want to speak about. So where this video comes from and why I wanted to do this video is because I feel like not enough people talk about sex. And was that a bit aggressive? That was a bit aggressive. I think not enough people talk about sex, and when there are conversations that are happening about sex, it's not entirely, not most of them are not healthy. So disclaimer, I have to put it in a disclaimer. This is just part of my personality. I come with disclaimers as a person.
The views and thoughts and opinions expressed in this text belong solely to the author and not necessarily the author's employer, organization, committee, or other group or individual. In this case, I am the author, the author's employer, the organization, committee, and other group or individual. So it's very interesting to me to be separated from myself.
I'm not a sexologist, and I don't know anybody who I could go to and be like, hey, I'm saying these things in a video, so is this right, is that right? So this is not coming from an educational perspective of having the right information. I just really want to encourage, number one, read this book. It was really thought-provoking for me and very interesting to read the book and go through it. So I do want to encourage people to speak about sex. Read the book because it helps you on how to speak about it in a healthy way. But also, there's this channel that I once watched videos on. I think it's called Touch Me on My Yanos, or Don't Touch My Yanos or something. But it's a South African YouTube channel. She has what I think are very healthy and positive conversations about sex and just different things around sex. For me, that channel is Sex Health, and that's really cool because sex is so taboo, especially I think in South Africa. It's we don't talk about that, and it's so mysterious. And how are you supposed to actually, you're gonna go to school to study for other things, but the thing that helps you bring life into this world, you just going up, you're raw dogging it. So I read this book, Quirky Quick Guide to Having Great Sex for Adults. You see the title, Quirky Quick Guide, and you're like, oh, it's gonna tell me 1, 2, this, 2, dude. It's really so much more than that. And what I liked about it is that it beautifully talks about sex, but from the perspective of one, consent. There's a chapter on consent, but then every new idea that's introduced in the book, they speak about consent, because that's really important. It's not just the consent that you get asked for before you have sex. It's if you want to try something new, you still need to kind of get the person's consent just to make sure that they're still comfortable and they're doing what they want to do, and they're on board with you guys are on board together. Number two, I feel like it normalizes sex, especially the conversation around sex, and make sure that it's not this taboo topic or this unknown mysterious thing that you only learn about when you're a big adult. You know what's kind of funny is as a child, my parents had this book. It was for kids, for you to teach kids about how babies are made, and I hated it. I hated the fact that that book existed in my house, because it had a puzzle, an out puzzle piece and an in puzzle piece that goes together, and it had it was very educational. So there's even a you know, like how the baby grows, this is how small it is, and then it gets bigger, bigger, bigger. There was one page in the book, and this is the page that horrified me, is like there was a mom and a dad, mom on top of each other under the blanket, and I was horrified, like, get that book out of my face. So I'm really, like, it was a whole cartoon book and was for kids, and now that I think about it, like, that's very awesome that my parents actually wanted to educate us and didn't make it this taboo thing. But I personally, as a person with a personality on this earth, didn't want it. Like, no, please stop what you're doing immediately.
Yeah, immediately no. Immediately no.
Like, in my head, that's not what mommies and daddies do. So, and then the third thing that I really, really like about the book is like acknowledging the different types of ways that you can have sex, you know? So in turn, where they're acknowledging the different types of ways, I think it kind of demystifies a lot of things that we have thought or have learned or incorrectly been taught or have conversations about. It's beautiful. I really love this book. The reason I started reading this book is because I like to be a know-it-all. I like to be like the guru of things, and if my friends are having a conversation about sex, I can be like, yeah, and this is how, and oh, that, whatever. Just like, I like to know things because I'm crazy, and because I believe with my full entire heart, soul, mind, and body that knowledge is power. But this book was really empowering. There's chapters that talk about how to have a conversation about sex, and that is cool because, for example, I've been in so many situations where my friends are complaining, you men don't know how to do this thing, or you'll have songs where people are talking about, he doesn't even make me orgasm or come, like, oh, he's so bad, and like, but did you tell him what you needed or want? Do you know what you like? You just go into this thing and expect them to know. But whoever you're with, your partner, like, have you said to them, this is what I like? And in order for you to say this is what I like, you need to know. Have the conversation. Don't be scared to have the conversation. Don't be scared to say, I didn't like, not even I didn't like that. That wasn't satisfying. Not like that. Don't be harsh. Be nice. The book will teach you how. None of this faking, none of that. Let's just talk. It talks about ending sexual relationships, which love that, because we out here, relationships, situationship, friendships, raw dogging. You no longer want to be friends with someone. How do you end that? It's hard. So we just out here like ghosting, ghost, disappear, and that's, to be honest, hurtful to the other person. And this all, like, it's not fair to ghost people. I understand it completely because I've done it, but also because we have so many social media platforms nowadays that we're so connected to people that when you do need to disconnect from them, it's not just I can stay away and not see them physically, because even if they're just watching your stories or they're just posting something which has absolutely nothing to do with you, it for me, it feels like a restart. So I understand ghosting, blocking, all these things, but there are nice ways to end relationships. There's a chapter that speaks about like 12 different ways that you can have an orgasm.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
12. I don't know if it was 12 different ways or if it was 12 things to help you, but you're gonna get there. And for some people, that's the goal. Doesn't have to be the goal. Something that I learned from the book. It doesn't have to be the goal. It's cool. This book is so cool. Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but people think that penetration the penis and the vagina is the only way to have sex, but like the fact that every sexual relationship is not man and woman. I hope the people who are watching this video are way more open-minded. I feel like I'm judging right now. I am, and I shouldn't be. This is a safe space. Oh, I watched like 1 or 2 episodes of Group Lab on Netflix, and I remember seeing in this episode, this guy was like being touched with a feather like throughout his body, and he was literally in tears. He was literally, it was so good for him that he was crying. So you're telling me that that wasn't a sexual experience or an intimate experience? That was cool to see in a weird way. I couldn't actually watch the rest of that documentary. I don't know why. Maybe I should try. But that thing, like, I can't stop thinking about it. People always talk about size mattering. And this is the debate that we can have to the ends of the earth. In my opinion, like, I don't think that it does, only because you need to know what you're doing with it. Whether it's huge or tiny, like, you need to know what to do to satisfy your person or be satisfied by the person that you're with. And if the size doesn't suit your taste, there's many other things that you can do. So many other things that you can do, apparently, according to the book. So yeah, I want to show you, like, because I've tried to talk as much, I guess I spoke about the things that I kind of learned from the book, which was pretty cool. I want to show you the content pages of this book so that you see all the different things that you can learn. Because if there's a specific thing that you want to know about, I think it covers it in the book. One of the first things that they say is that sex is such an extensive topic that this is only covering a little bit of it, which is cool because it's just the beginning. And that's why I just really like the book, because it starts the conversation. So I want more people to read it. Maybe this is more significant for me, being a person who is very, like, conservative when it comes to intimacy. Like, even just hugging people for me is like, why are you touching my body? Like, why are you, like, when we could not hug people during the pandemic, when that was a rule, when we had to be 1.5 meters away from people, that was the best. I was like, finally finally have a reason to be like, I don't, because being like, I don't like hugs is awkward. Now people want to diagnose why you don't like hugs. Like, just leave me alone. So thank you, Cyril. Yeah, so that's about it for me. What mistake did I make? Today, I made a mistake. I read a book. I had conversations about sex when, why was I doing that? Because I'm obviously not a sexologist. I hope this was useful. I mean, if it's not useful, you won't come back to watch the video, so I don't need to be still speaking. Bye.
Bye! Bye! يلا مع السلامة. يا بنت قدام المدرسة المديرة هتطرد الخصم. مو وقته داعي.